What's up, guys? We're back. How are we sounding, Janae? Sorry about that. We had a whole bunch of multiverse Connors and Fernandez coming out. How are we
share
sounding,
their
Janae?
opinions
Sorry
too.
about that.
Oh, yeah.
But it was the multiverses where we
the
had
same opinion.
Yes, and however, the takes
bunch of
were
multiverse
hotter
Connors
than the
and
flames
Fernandez.
tattooed on Bam
How are we
Bam's
sounding?
head.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But it was the multiverses where we had
How we doing, Janae? Yes, and however, the takes
bunch of
were hotter
multiverse
than the
Connors
flames
and
tattooed on Bam
How
Bam's
we
head.
sounding?
Yeah.
But it was the multiverses where we had
How we doing, Janae? Yes, and however,
good?
the takes were hotter
Oh,
than
I
the
saw-
flames
I saw
tattooed
past
on
me.
Bam Bam's head.
Dropping
Yeah.
bombs on the
But it
moms.
was the multiverses where we had
How we doing, Janae? Yes.
Okay.
And,
What do you got for us?
Oh, do you have a whole bunch of streams happening at the same time? Okay.
Okay. All right. And we are back and in full effect. However, now that we've actually got everything in check and online, would this be the right time to actually bring up some acknowledgement of our sponsors?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Today's episode of Sit Down and Pile Drive is sponsored by New Mexico Entertainment Magazine. It's a great magazine. You should check us out online at www.nmentertains.com.
Boom! And I just got back here a couple hours ago from Duke City Comic Con, where I was with the rest of the Color Circuit gang, and we were sitting down. We were getting we had a booth set up with our homies at Director's Cut Radio.
Nice.
Who made it a point to make a note that they were extending the olive branch to their direct competition, which was us, to bring together stuff for Best Buddies, where they were, raising money for job placement and educational opportunities for the developmentally and intellectually disabled. So, it's all good stuff. If you get a chance to get out to Duke City Comic Con today, although it might not be enough time today, go out and see us at the booth. We'll say what's up. Anyway, on with the show.
That's awesome. Awesome. We were talking about Big Cass and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, once again, let's get back on the rails here.
Yeah.
And we're back. Big Cass, he got in trouble originally for the incident with the little person. He went off script. Vince McMahon admonished him, and then there were talks of him basically getting buried and stuff like that. They were I shouldn't use that term, but here I am using that term.
Yep, that's how we do.
He was getting punished, essentially. Mm-hmm. And it seemed like maybe he might overcome it. They still kept him around.
Right.
He didn't beat Daniel Bryan in the feud, but
No.
they had a pretty decent match at Money in the Bank.
That was probably his best match I'd ever seen Big Cass pull off,
And then 2 days later they fired him.
And you can't foresee that.
Oh man. What is Tall William doing in the Impact Zone?
Oh my goodness. Large Guillermo.
And then, so the first tip-off that something was amiss about his release was they didn't wish him well in his future endeavors.
Nope.
And of course, it's 100% internet wrestling fan speculation.
Yeah.
But it's just weird because they always wish people their best in their future endeavors.
Yeah.
But Big Cass, for some reason, exempt.
Yeah. He was the exception to the rule on this one.
Which immediately kind of gave away that this was a negative firing.
Yeah.
Allegedly, Vince McMahon Tuesday during during SmackDown rehearsals.
Right.
It's getting way too inside.
Yeah.
They're revealing.
It's okay.
News
It's
is
okay.
revealing.
People know what we're talking about.
Exactly. Vince McMahon calls a meeting. Basically to discuss. They talked about. I guess Big Cass was getting drunk. On the European tour.
Yep, he kicked in a bathroom door, or kicked out a bathroom door.
The story goes it locked, and he got claustrophobia. But at the same time, it's kind of like, that's going overboard.
Well, and then the other one was that that he was under the impression that he was being ribbed, rather than having a basic difficulty with the way that locking mechanisms work. He's very big.
Hey, that's the only match he got to win.
Oh, but you know what? He won with the big boot. So and rumors as to whether he gave the East River Crossing to the booted-in door remain unconfirmed.
He used steel chair and everything. It was violent.
Oh, okay. Possibly dropped an Empire Elbow.
Oh yeah,
right.
Dave Meltzer gave it 4 stars.
The Melts, he's been very generous nowadays. He's
7 stars. He's got stars to give.
Yeah, still a far cry from Okada Omega, but you know what? Cass v bathroom door like that, that's still a classic for its day.
I don't know. I mean, at first when I read it, it was kind of, I had this feeling of like, whoa, because I didn't think they'd fire him so quickly.
No.
You know, Titus O'Neil they suspended for 60 days after he had the nerve to touch Vince McMahon.
Yeah. To like grab his shoulder and give him a little, but you know, well, the problem was he did it too, like, you get somebody in the wrong spot for a jostle and you end up rustling their jimmies, and you do that with Vinnie Mac, and
He gets his jimmies jostled.
yeah
over
nobody,
Toilet
nobody
flush.
Rustles the jimmy. Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Yeah, no, it doesn't work that way. Yeah, you do that, you'll find yourself out of a job.
And with that one, I mean, the 60 days I think was a little bit over the top, but you know, Titus is still around and they still do great things with him.
And the thing is, he's just such a decent human being, and yet like the unluckiest son of a bitch in wrestling. Oh my God!
He'll live in infamy.
Greatest Royal Rumble fall.
He'll live in infamy. And I mean, Big Cass is 7 feet. Like, he's a tall, big guy.
Yeah.
So you would figure he'd be able to overcome, you know, the backstage politics and people being mad at him.
And is it just me, or did he also kind of look like he was the actual like genetic offspring of like Lance Hoyt and Edge?
Yeah. Like
he had big Edge face.
If Test cloned himself.
Yeah. Yeah. And
it
then
went
just
a little
threw
bit,
in
yeah.
some better worker fluid in there. Janae. Okay. All right. You had hands up, and I was like, uh-oh, what is about to happen? She was like, nope, can't handle this tide of wrestling talk. Yeah. Oh, she flipped the table, everybody. It's a Donnybrook. Up here, 6.
I kind of feel like his tag team partnership with this is the first and last time I'll say this guy's name, Enzo.
Yeah.
Kind of didn't help him.
No, it did him absolutely no favors. Because, I mean, I remember, and I'm sure everybody who's familiar with them remembers the story, that they went to school together when they were young men.
They grew up, they went to high school, they grew up together and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that they kind of weren't in touch, and then they reconnected at the WWE Performance Center. And it was just like, oh, hey, you're a guy. Oh, you're a guy. Yeah, hey, we know each other. Yeah, soft. Boop, 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 boop. And then they started working together, and yet they were very different. Like their lives went in very different directions ever since. So it was cool that they paired them up, but then at the same time, they were never really a good fit for each other. You know, it was
also, I think, like, second time we'll say his name, Enzo. Is probably one of the worst things to happen to professional wrestling in a very long time.
Yeah, really. He just really seemed to be kind of a poisonous influence, and unfortunately, it follows. It is not unreasonable to assume that a lot of his attitude rubbed off on Cass.
Yeah,
you know, because I mean, obviously, what they said is, especially around the time that Enzo got kicked off the bus, that he was not known for having a good attitude, but he was the one who was kind of making the waves for the team, you know, and just that, but also by that point, they said that the two of them weren't really friends. They were just kind of working together at that point. And then by the time Cass got hurt last year for SummerSlam, that was kind of it anyway.
Their fallout moment. If you had to name a wrestler that would not be missed, it would probably be Big Cass.
Yeah, he just and it's too bad because obviously dude had a ton of potential. Yeah, you know, especially because he was a big dude.
He was a big guy.
He got much better at his interviews as time had gone on, and but otherwise, you know, it's just he was a big guy. If he was not as big a guy, would he have been able to work at the same level as guys like Daniel Bryan or anything like that? And I don't think he could.
I don't think so. And he didn't have, like, Diesel, Kevin Nash got to get away with things because Kevin Nash was just so cool.
Yeah.
Big Cass, I feel like he always kind of had this just what the hell am I doing face.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very true. It was a bit too much, a bit too fast with that guy.
yeah.
And, well, who knows? Maybe, a while down the road, something will change. Otherwise, he's just going to be a big sports chiropractor.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Either way, it's like you're not going to be the most impactful, so to speak, worker on the card. But nevertheless, good luck, homie.
And then some people said some mean stuff about how they can't believe that out of the three, Enzo, Big Cass, and Carmella, that the only one who would hold a singles title is Carmella. Carmella gets some unnecessary... Carmella's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Carmella gets some unnecessary hate.
And but you know what? That is definitely the case. And she's improved by leaps and bounds, and it's always nice to see, especially because I would have bet money she would have been the first to go,
right?
And yet she's the the last
SmackDown
one
Women's
standing.
Champion.
Yep, and a hell of a champ too.
Yeah, I think she's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Also, in WWE news, they last week they did the WWE NXT UK announcement. The United Kingdom is going to get their own NXT developmental brand, which I think is completely awesome.
Yeah.
And excellent, and a good decision by WWE.
Oh, yeah.
And smart by Triple H.
Oh, yeah. The global localization initiative is something that I fully agree with.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, and it's going to get some of those stars out there, especially because they, and if they're doing it more in the UK style, that it will be stuff that you won't be seeing, on main roster.
Exactly.
You'll be seeing stuff, that will bleed into NXT, obviously, and it really is neat to see that far more technical and submission-based style.
Oh, Zach Gibson is unlike anything I've ever seen in a very long time.
Man. Yeah, no, that dude has the submission. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah, no.
Yeah, no, it's just absolutely brutal. Fantastic tournament. It was some ass kicking, and
very unique.
Very much so.
Not to attack the Japanese style or New Japan Pro Wrestling, but a lot of their wrestlers kind of all blend together.
Yeah,
because it's like strong style is such a specific.
Head droppy.
Yeah. Straight up kicked you in the face.
Yeah.
You better protect your neck kind of style that you see a lot of the same moves happening.
Yeah.
The British style is such a... There's obviously British technical wrestling, but the British wrestling scene is evolving so much that it leaves so much room for things you've never seen before.
Oh, yeah. Golden cravat looks like it hurts. It's not the same as a burning hammer.
Mm-hmm. It's also a much safer style than Japanese strong style,
especially just with a lot of the like the Zack Sabre Jr. Kind of stuff. Well, and like Jack Gallagher, a lot of those cats, like the use of small joint manipulation and telling stories through submission holds,
and it gets the crowd every time.
That is one of my very favorite things to see. Not how long can he hold out, but what variations and what interpretations can these guys use? Because you see it work out very well in the international arena.
Yeah.
Why guys like Zack Sabre Jr. are doing stuff with Minoru Suzuki and a lot of those cats, and because they're all good, and it's cool to see guys who are exceedingly technical.
Yes, I think in 2018 we're starting to really move away. Like, as much as I love seeing a pile driver, I don't want to see it all the time anymore. It's terrifying to look at.
I love the fact that we are in the era now that if you had a slow brawl through the crowd, nobody would give a shit.
Unless it's a combat zone, like unless your name's Nick Gage, we don't want to see that.
Hardcore Nick Gage.
I love Nick Gage. I shouldn't, but he's such a, for what he is, he's such a classic babyface.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, I do it for my fans. Murder, death, kill. I'm like, that's probably not a good name for your fans, but gang affiliated, the fucking king, the fucking god.
Oh my goodness,
I love him so much. Oh God, if he came to a DWO show, I'd be there. I'm like, I need to see that happen.
You can see Justice Payne.
Yeah. I think one of the in the Marty Scurll can just take your fingers and make it seem like he's breaking them.
Yeah.
That is very minimal impact for the wrestler who's taking the move.
Yeah.
It's not going to actually break your fingers, and it doesn't require him to do anything to his neck or hands. It's it just goes. British wrestling lends itself to such solid storytelling.
Very much so.
That someone like Trent Seven,
Yeah.
who's probably not the most athletic guy.
No, certainly not. Well, I mean, and he's got a fantastic look, but yeah, he has a big belly.
I love Trent Seven. I looked at Trent Seven. I was like, I want to look like that.
Yeah.
But
Fair enough.
he can put on a 5-star match,
Of course.
using the style of British strong style wrestling.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Pete Dunne is the best wrestler in the world right now.
He is so good.
Not named
Yeah.
Kenny Omega or Kazuchika Okada.
Right. Yeah,
Or
no,
AJ
just
Styles.
anywhere aside from a very small island in
Oh,
the
yeah.
yeah.
Speaking of which, what do you think of Kenny Omega being JP champion?
Oh yeah, no, it's just that Kenny Omega, I was honestly surprised that it happened the way that it did. I thought it was going to be one of the best ones, but you know what? With all of the stories between him and Okada, the fact that Okada was the champion who was basically the Ric Flair of Japan, turning away any and all challengers, kicking ass. How much more can he take? And just with the whole Okada Reborn, with going from his normal tights to having like his bell bottomy ones, his John Morrison tights that he had.
He wears them so much better though.
Yeah,
I love Okada.
absolutely.
I love Okada.
Well,
He's
and
my
it
favorite.
He is just so goddamn cool. But it was just fact that it was like through the redemption of Kenny the Cleaner, turning into Golden Lover Kenny Omega again, and just saying that all it took was his baby face turn to be able to find the reserves of will, and flat out ability to actually be able to take it to Okada in a 2 out of 3 falls match.
that went over an hour.
God damn it, those guys. Yeah, no, they can wrestle. It is fantastic. It's also weird to see that a dude who was such a goofy fucker becoming like easily like the world's best
Oh yeah,
wrestler.
Kenny Omega does not take himself seriously one tiny bit.
No, seeing a dude who used like a Hadoken as a signature move, and a dude who wrestled an invisible man and a little girl,
and a blow up doll.
yeah, and got his ass kicked every
know.
time. Yeah. The fact that this goofy, poofy-haired son of a bitch was able to just turn it all the way around and just become such a damn nightmare in the ring was tremendously satisfying. But
He might be the best wrestler of this generation.
yeah. Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I would take Okada over him any day.
Oh,
but
yeah, certainly.
I have no problem saying that Omega's probably like, if we're going to be talking about a Mount Rushmore 20, 30 years from now, Kenny Omega will probably be on it, along with like AJ Styles, John Cena, whether people like it or not.
Oh yeah, Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan. Oh yes.
Yeah,
And I'll petition for CM Punk.
there you go.
Won't happen, but so along with the NXT United Kingdom, I just said it.
Yeah.
Being announced, they also did their NXT UK Championship tournament, introduced a whole lot of new United Kingdom wrestlers to the WWE universe, which is another reason why I love what's going on with NXT right now.
Yeah.
Is it just introduces you to some of the best wrestlers you probably have never heard of.
Yeah, very much so. Because one of the guys I'd heard of just a while ago, just kind of in passing, that I saw in there, who just immediately struck me with his style, was Flash Morgan Webster.
I love Flash.
That
Morgan
guy is
Webster.
so cool.
I've been following that guy for a little bit. That guy, he's great in the ring.
Yeah.
He has a very unique style.
Yeah.
He's a modder.
Yeah, no, just that style is incredibly cool.
Oh, yeah.
He's got the mop top haircut and like the striped like Savile Row suit and like
looks
a fur
like a
coat.
Beatle, yeah.
That was exactly. It's like by the bikes, like basically mixed with like the guys from Oasis.
Yeah.
And yet he's not a douchebag.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it was just there were so many things done right with that, especially for a throwback style that you wouldn't have seen for a UK style wrestler. You'd see you see plenty of old timey kind of fisticuffs looking guys, or you see guys like who was it, Lars Sullivan, who looks like he would have been a carnival wrestler from like the 1920s.
He looks like a monster. Yeah.
Oh, they're cooking food. Yeah.
Brussels sprouts. I recognize the smell anywhere.
But but yeah, it was just seeing somebody go back. It's weird to think that that's a 50-year throwback in that style. But yeah, that dude was incredibly cool. But there were so many. But that was the immediate standout to me.
Zach Gibson, who won the entire tournament,
Yep.
spoiler alert, would not exist. Would not be as revered as he is just 5 years ago.
Oh no, not at all. And it's just the fact that they've opened up these doors. The international waters have flooded in, and it's really cool to see all these guys with their. Well, I mean, this is something we've already discussed, but yeah, Zach Gibson, holy shit. And he's such an asshole. It
Oh,
was great.
You don't see those heels anymore. Those heels are just heels.
No, the ones who are not caring about coming off as cool. The guys who are just and the fact is the crowd eviscerated him and he lapped it up.
I love London crowds. And then you had people like Dave Mastiff.
That's a
guy.
big boy. He
Might be bigger than Big Damo.
Oh man, yeah, no, that is a big old dude. And the funny part too was just you see his interviews where it was like he's gonna, he's talking about how he's gonna show everybody what he's made of. Ham. That's what it is. He is made of mostly ham and mean.
And then they brought in British female wrestlers like United Kingdom based female wrestlers, like, even though she's from New Zealand, Toni Storm.
Oh yeah,
who I mean we saw in the Mae Young Classic, but now she's officially signed with the WWE.
Killer Kelly.
Charlie Morgan.
Yep.
They're probably going to try and get Viper, which I think is
as well they should. Just because it's now you are really seeing the nascence of how awesome women's wrestling has become. And that is one of the things that I've loved for a long time, because I'm somebody who followed, Stardom and Ice Ribbon and Shimmer and a bunch of that stuff. And just being able to see them absolutely kick the piss out of one another, it is so badass. It was just like, watching what's her name, Asuka, when she was still Kana. It was just like, she was dropping women on their heads and just gave no shits, and she would fight dudes. And it was like, did you ever see that clip of her versus Minoru Suzuki?
Oh yeah.
Holy shit. And the thing is, she booked that. Like, that was her getting the piss kicked out of her, where it was like the referee and her, like, and Suzuki's partner, like, all tried to intervene because of, like, the severity of the beating that was being put on there. And it was just like, that wasn't coming from a bad place, it was coming from the spirit of competition, holy shit.
I mean, one of my personal favorite matches from the first Mae Young Classic was Viper versus Santana Garrett.
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember Santana Garrett from her TNA days, and I was not super duper impressed. But it's amazing when you give these wrestlers time to tell their stories. They can put on great matches.
Yep, very much so.
The standout match from Mae Young Classics probably Kimber. They called her Abby Laith.
Right.
And then they fired her, which makes no sense. But Kimberly versus Jazzy Gabbert.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh boy, and that's the other thing that I liked is just the fact that you see that Jazzy and other wrestlers like Nia Jax, that they are letting them also have female giants who are not treated as novelty acts.
You wouldn't have seen Nia Jax 10 years ago.
No,
they messed up Karma. Although Karma kind of messed up.
That really is the shame, because just because Kong,
the idea of her coming to the WWE was awesome.
Oh, it absolutely was, because it was like, especially when you see the like really big, strong female wrestlers that can hang with men, with that kind of stuff. That's what I love to see. And of course, with like Candice LeRae, it was just like to see a lot of this stuff. It's fantastic because you want to see it done in the spirit of competition, not as a, how's she going to be able to hold out against a man, kind of shit. It was like, no, ladies, go forth and kick ass, and I will be your biggest fan. This is something that I love being able to see, and it was just like women of all stripes being able to go out there and show how it's done,
Yeah, I mean, if you had told me like 5 years ago that, I mean, granted, it's James Ellsworth, and he's going to get his head kicked in.
Oh, shit.
The fact that James Ellsworth is going to have a match against Asuka in the WWE, I would have been like, that makes no sense. Also, who's James Ellsworth?
And who's Asuka?
Yeah. Don't you mean Kana? No. But the fact that they're doing this and they're booking it, and they've done it before with Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
WrestleMania had, I mean, granted, it was just Ronda Rousey beating up Triple H, not the other way around.
Right.
Which I'm like,
But you know what? The thing was, when you saw her, like, ready, when she puts him up, and he was like, are you serious right now? Okay, time to get ready. Oh God, I'm getting wrecked. And she was just putting hands on him. That was hilarious. And he sold the being put in the armbar, like his arm was going to be pulled out of its goddamn socket. And for a dude like Triple H to sell her like Doom was fantastic.
Triple H knows what he's doing most of the time. Well, and sometimes it's ego.
And to see Stephanie McMahon put somebody over completely, solidly, with no payback, just getting devoured. You know, like doesn't get to run her down where nobody gets a chance to get her back. No, she just gets wrecked. She comes in, hey, you did better than me. Oh God, my arm. You know, it was just like,
She's
that
the
was
worst
satisfying.
character. She's the worst character. on
Oh,
television.
worst ever. Please go away. You're poison. Thank you. Thank you, Ronda Rousey, thank you, ultimately, for being booked that way, that you got one fucking completely over on her and she got nothing back.
Yeah.
Oh, that was.
I think Stephanie McMahon as a business person is great, but Stephanie McMahon as a character is horrible.
Yep.
She doesn't let anybody get over.
No.
And now, I made a tweet once. Constable, which whoever came up with that, whoever like, all right, you're gonna be Stephanie McMahon's assistant, and we're gonna call you a constable.
He could have been a bailiff. You know, Bailiff Baron,
Sheriff.
not Constable
I would
Corbin.
have loved it. You give him a little star and a cowboy hat.
Well, then just Stone Cold would have had to have come in and stunner him, just so everybody knows who's
Great.
still the sheriff.
That's a SummerSlam moment.
Okay, all right, I accept that. But yeah, no, Bailiff Baron, he could have been that too,
exactly,
because he has no actual power, and if you look into the definition, you know, a member of the constabulary was not so much a what the hell was it? It wasn't so much like an enforcer of the law, so much as like it was weird. But anyway, yeah, that was yeah. But you know what? I actually kind of like him in this role.
I like it. I'm so over the power struggle storyline.
Yeah. It's just the best things that are not on main roster are reasonable authority figures. You know, Regal, awesome authority figure. I always want to call him Rockstar Spud, but yeah, reasonable authority figure.
That was such a they just gave him that name last minute.
Yeah, but you know, Drake Maverick, that's still a good name.
205 Live's been killing it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. And not only that, I am definitely of the opinion that Johnny Saint is going to be an amazing authority figure and entirely reasonable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's not, because he looks like he could be an old dick if he wanted to be, but I don't get that sense, you know, especially for somebody anyway, you know, we can speculate about this all damn day. It's just the fact that, yeah, power struggle, shitty authority figure, that's done.
It's just been done.
It's been done for 20 years, you know?
SmackDown doesn't. I mean, when SmackDown was doing it, it was getting bad.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
I'm happy about it. I'd love to see NXT go to places like Canada. Speaking of which, it's Happy National Canada Day.
Oh yeah.
If you've noticed, my decor minus some of it is all Canadian themed wrestlers. I got Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho. I got Owen Hart and Bret Hart over here.
Oh yeah.
Canada has produced a lot of great professional wrestlers. Some of the very best.
Goodness. Yeah. Kenny Omega. He's from Winnipeg. Yep.
As is Chris Jericho. Obviously, I mean,
you idiot.
I don't know what your opinion on Bret Hart is, but
I also work for a company called Geeks Who Drink that does pub quiz, and if I hadn't made mention of it before, that my handle as a quizmaster for Geeks Who Drink is the Excellence of Elocution, which is also my name on Facebook. So yeah, that was always something that I thought was super cool. I was always a fan of Bret Hart. He was never my favorite. You know, I definitely would have sided with Shawn Michaels on the side of that one, but as the performer, because as the person, Bret Hart had the moral high ground on that one all fucking day, son. Yeah, no, Shawn, shitbag of a human being back then. Oh my God, such an asshole. But in the ring, it was just like I had an undeniable man crush on his in-ring ability. Oh, that dude was phenomenal.
One of the best, one of the very best. I think he's underrated. I think because he wasn't super flashy.
Yeah.
And he's a little bit of a bitter person.
Yeah.
It's kind of shed a negative light on him as a professional
wrestler.
wrestler.
Certainly. But yeah, Bret Hart, it's just, he was entirely too good. I wish people could have seen more of what he brought to the table for, Stampede.
Yeah.
Where he definitely worked a harder, more technical style. No five moves of doominess going on. But it was where he was regularly, winning with magistral cradles and being able to tap people out with different moves.
And just the sharpshooter.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
no, I
absolutely.
Gotcha.
Yeah, good stuff.
Probably my favorite match of his. I mean, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus him at WrestleMania.
What, 14?
13.
Okay, yeah.
That's a great match. That's a fantastic match.
Yeah.
But, Stone Cold gets all the credit sometimes for that. I'm like, well, there's another half of that match.
Yeah, well, one of my favorites was the Hart Foundation versus, there was no formal name,
Right.
but just the, Team America, basically,
America,
at
In Your
Canadian
House.
Stampede. Yeah.
It's a great match.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, and the thing was, just again, living in Minnesota, I used to go up to because we were touching Alberta, so I would go up to Edmonton, I would go up to Calgary, and yeah, it was just like there were so many cool things going on at that time, especially in the early 2000s, that I never got to see a wrestling match at like the Saddle Dome or anything, but it was just like, yeah, Canadian wrestling. That was always something that was cool.
Yeah.
Stampede was always something that was good. There was, and as previously mentioned, there were so many awesome wrestlers that came out of Alberta as well. Because, it was just like Calgary was they brought out Lance Storm. It was
Very underrated.
Yes. Oh my goodness gracious. The entire Hart family, they did a fantastic job. I was like they kind of had their shitbag members as well.
Yeah,
and,
some
but
of the worst wrestlers ever came from Canada. But I think like maybe Japan's the only place not to produce bad wrestlers.
yeah, I don't
Soldier.
disagree.
Till Ishimori.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, it was absolutely a good time. Yeah.
What other any other wrestlers from Canada that just really just knocked it? I mean, Owen Hart.
Yeah.
Obviously, all of these guys.
Yeah. Well,
El Generico.
Okay. Yeah. Bad News Brown.
Bad News Brown.
Yeah, he was Canadian. He was an Olympic judo bronze medalist, and one of the few human beings of whom Andre the Giant was scared. He literally did you not hear about this?
No.
Okay, in Japan, they were on a tour in the late 80s, and Andre was drunk as per his wont. He was dropping some racial slurs.
Oh man.
And Bad News was not having that shit, like forced the driver to pull over and challenged Andre to come out and back that shit up. Andre refused, apologized, and made good with him. So it was just like, yeah, well, but the thing was, it was just like, he was hard as fucking nails all the way around.
Yeah, there's a story in Have a Nice Day about Bad News Brown actually pulling a gun out on a guy.
Oh, yeah.
Who was telling like really racist jokes.
Yep.
And basically scaring him and saying, I'm going to shoot you in the head. And then when the guy was like super crying and apologetic and stuff, it's like, I wouldn't wasted a bullet on you. It's funny.
Oh, and we cannot forget, just recently gone, only 2 years, Canada's greatest athlete, Iron Mike Sharp.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, one of my favorite. Well, he ended up being a job guy like much later on, but otherwise, that dude was actually in phenomenal shape. I used to hear the stories they talk about the fact that he had OCD. And he would show up and he'd shower until basically they locked the arena doors and stuff. And he would just run up and down. Because it was like the dude had like this barrel body, and yet he was in better shape than most dudes who were just absolutely ripped. But yeah, that dude was one of my favorites back in the day. Fantastic wrestler. Let's see, who else was... Oh yeah, Rene Goulet. There were, the Quebecers, the Rougeau brothers, the Mounties. Yeah, they were fantastic. There was just a ton of those guys. Who was it? Pierre Carl Ouellet.
Oh, he's still that's PCO. He's still wrestling today.
Yep.
He's adapted.
Yeah. Aside from having all of the skin stripped from his chest
By Walter.
Oh my God.
I'm terrified. If WWE signs Walter, I'm literally terrified for every wrestler.
Yeah, the only person they actually need to put him in match with to get his point across is have him just give chops to Regal.
That would be...
Because he was always the dude with the big red handprints and the burst blood vessels across his chest. Or Daniel Bryan.
Oh, he murdered Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, both of those guys, they would have bloody rivulets across their chest, and they would love it because those are the kind of wrestlers they are.
Did you see the photo of PCO after? Oh, it's
that's what I'm talking about, dude. Yeah, that was like a photo negative rainbow in blood across his chest.
I don't hate that match. That match was just physically exhausting and emotionally.
No, it was just that's all I can watch is somebody take that kind of a beating for so long. Yeah,
PCO's trying to do shoot shooting star presses. And
you're old as
Hurricanranas.
shit.
He's
Yeah.
60-something years old, and he's way too tall. I mean, he's better than I would be at doing
Oh yeah, no,
Hurricanrana.
ever. Yeah, no,
But-
I could never. I would never be able to pull off any of that. Well, I was never that athletic anyway. It
No.
was like Anyway,
I don't jump very high.
I can't touch rim, guys. It's been a long time since I had any sort of athletic inclination.
I think one of the best things about Canadian wrestlers is a good chunk of them. Like American wrestling is such a comedy act of sorts.
Oh, very much so.
That you don't really you especially back in the early 80s and the 90s. You
Very
didn't
brawly.
Yeah, very brawly because that's what Americans like to see.
Yeah.
But Canadians have such a good chunk of them are influenced by both the American storytelling,
Yeah.
quote unquote, because
Yeah.
it's all just brawling. The Japanese strong style.
Oh yeah, and a lot of like lucha libre influenced high flying. Yeah, and there was a lot of technical style wrestling that they did. Well, because of course, they have that long litany of graduates of the Hart family dungeon
Yes.
who turned out to be phenomenal talents, and also who were stretched by Stu down in the basement just because apparently he just liked stretching the youngsters because holy shit.
Not weighed down by American exceptionalism, so it allows them to travel to other countries and learn how to wrestle.
You're nothing special, kid. Oh God, my limbs. Yeah.
I'm huge in Canada. Oh my God, I just went to Japan and Minoru Suzuki kicked my face in.
Knock my teeth out. 'Cause he's such an old dick. Oh my God. Yeah, anyway.
No, he is terrifying.
Yeah.
I after what was it? I think it was it wasn't Wrestle Kingdom. One of the pay-per-views after it was one of the pay-per-views after Wrestle Kingdom. It
Wait,
was
this one?
Yeah, this most
Okay,
recent one.
okay.
Minoru Suzuki and Zack Sabre Jr. They were cutting a promo together and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And it's the first time I'd ever really heard Minoru Suzuki speak.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand a word he was saying.
Nope.
But I was hooked. It's kind of
Yeah.
like when Asuka cut that promo on Ember Moon. It was all
Yeah.
in Japanese. I was
Yep.
like, I believed every single word you said.
Yeah.
I don't know what you said, but
No,
I'm
but
convinced.
yeah, I was convinced of your malice.
He the only English word he said was when they were talking about other professional wrestlers,
Uh-huh.
and they were running them down and saying what they look like, and then Minoru Suzuki just goes fake. And I was like, oh, that's
Yeah.
the best promo I've ever
Yeah,
heard.
that dude is for real. He is absolutely for real. Oh man, yeah. Because let's see, who was it that I saw? His that clip of his chop battle with Jay Lethal.
Oh,
He beat Jay Lethal's ass. It was savagery. It was, and just because he'd knock him down and Jay Lethal would hit him, and Suzuki would no sell it,
Yeah.
and then he just and just would be like, come on, boy, and it was like, oh,
I
dude.
would love to see Suzuki in WWE just once to take on like Cassius Ohno.
Yeah, or Walter. Just watch the two of them just knock lumps out of each other.
Gosh,
you know?
Shinsuke.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh my goodness though. But yeah, him
That's
and
what
him
Shinsuke needs.
him and Ono would just like give each other all the elbows.
Ohno is
It would just it would be like alternate timeline versions of themselves would be collecting broken jaws.
they would hit each other so hard, people in the audience would feel it.
It was just like he's gonna throw an elbow so hard.
Cassius is terrifying.
Yeah. Oh well, it's. Oh yeah. No, it's sing like his old rolling elbow.
Yeah.
Oh
His-
man.
I mean,
well,
he-
and then Suzuki, it was just like you see the way that he slaps a taste out of people's mouths. I remember who was it that made the joke that like, God, was it Kenny Omega that he had a match with back in the Golden Lovers days, the original one, where they said that he slapped him so hard that all of his memories of his mother were then retroactively changed to be memories of fucking Suzuki's hand wearing her clothes.
He took on Ishii.
Yeah.
It was a tag team match.
Yeah.
And they beat the shit out of each
Well,
other.
they're two old grumpy bastards.
That is a feud I want to see.
Yeah, and you know what? They probably went and got shithoused together afterwards.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
Suzuki, from what I hear, is a very nice guy. Anyway,
Oh,
he
yeah.
just doesn't look like it. He looks like a very terrifying
Yeah.
man who just would hurt you.
Oh, yeah, for
no-
breakfast.
Yeah, for breakfast. Like he
Yeah.
wakes up and he just eats young lions.
Young boys.
He just grabs them.
Yeah. Just grabs young boys and
he
just
hunts
bounces
them.
their heads off of shit. Yeah, because it was just like it just seems like he's one of those guys. It's his way of imparting the lesson that youth is wasted on the young by beating the shit out of young guys.
That's how he makes them men. He hurts them.
Yeah.
Jay Lethal is your new Ring of Honor World Champion.
You know what? The title is back where it belongs.
Wow, I can't. Dalton Castle was the most over guy until you put the title on him.
Yeah, which was a shame because he and the boys, that was fantastic. Wait a minute, when he went to Japan, who were his boys? It was like Okada and like who the hell, like Shibata or something. It was ridiculous. It was too like it was him or it was like Tanahashi or somebody as the boys for Dalton Castle because they knew it was just a goof, but it was so ridiculous. Like in the outfits and shit. But yeah, it was like Dalton Castle. Tremendously talented wrestler.
And then for some reason putting the talent on him and everything just fell flat.
But you know what? That's happened before.
Yeah.
You know, it is not the first time, but
I think
Jay
the Ring of
Lethal,
Honor title has such a prestige to it, a pedigree, that if you are lesser than the champions before you, it's going to show.
Yeah, very much
Because
so.
I forget Christopher, as much as he deserved it, I forget Christopher Daniels was champion.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't hold the title
and that
for
was
very long.
recently. Yeah. Wow, I forgot about that too. And you know, that's it because you'd see guys like Punk, you'd see guys like Samoa Joe, you'd see guys like oh man, and yeah, they were something else.
It's like when they put the title on Michael Elgin.
Yeah.
As much as he deserved it, it's kind of like
That was another one where it was like, it happened.
He screwed up by being a douche.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was another story that
Michael
came and
Elgin's
went too.
A very negative guy.
Yeah.
He just seems like a very grumpy man who
takes very little joy in life.
takes very little joy. He probably like actually hits you. He's like Chris Benoit, except we
God.
already saw what happened.
Yeah. Let's not. And that's the problem too, because you could easily add Benoit to the litany of fantastic
I
wrestlers.
still
It's just
would,
that.
but-
It's just the fact that obviously it casts a black cloud of everything. But again, it is remembering the litany of the performer's work, not who they actually were.
Exactly.
You know, because if that was it, it was just like you could look at all the fucking crazy shit that Teddy Hart did, and that dude's a piece of shit.
I was listening to a podcast. He was on Jericho's podcast, and in between, like putting over Chris Jericho, like super hard, which you know, Chris Jericho.
Of course, you're going to do that. Yeah.
He started, I don't know, kind of making excuses for his shitty behavior and stuff like that, and I'm all
Raising
for second
cats
chances.
and smoking weed. It was like you're a weird dude, Teddy Hart.
And I mean, I don't know. Him kind of bashing his father. I can't comment on it.
No.
Teddy Hart just seems like a brat.
Yeah, it was just like he just was somebody who was not reined in, learned bad habits that he was never able to work past.
Didn't really care.
And it's going to last until he, like, hopefully doesn't meet a premature death, you know?
Burn every bridge and then, you know.
Oh, my God. Yeah, because the thing is, it's like, this is kind of late to start over.
Yeah.
You know?
are 40 years old and you've had almost 20 years of being a dick.
Yeah.
You were, at one point, the youngest person signed by the WWE, and you tossed it.
Yeah.
I think he still is technically the youngest person WWE ever signed.
Yeah, and it was just like, because obviously he seemed like he was going to, you know, if he had taken, who was it, Tyson Kidd's spot, you know, that wouldn't have been a bad...
They were going to be a stable.
Yeah.
It was going to be Tyson Kidd,
No, the
Teddy
dynasty
Hart,
would have
David
been...
Hart Smith. Yeah.
Oh, man. And then, of course, David Hart Smith, killing it in Japan right
Killing
now.
it.
Yeah.
With fucking Lance Hoyt, of all people.
Who would have thought...
Lance Hoyt.
Vance Archer.
New Age Test.
Yeah, no, definitely.
He cites Test as his favorite wrestler.
You know what? The only thing I ever admired about Test was the notches that he collected. You know,
He had some weird accomplishments.
Yeah.
Just this strange giant edge-looking dude.
well, because the thing is, for me, back when I saw him debut as the hired gun for the corporation,
Right.
he looked like giant Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
That's what he always looked like to me, wearing sunglasses, had the exact same hair, chewing gum and shit. And I was like, Shawn Michaels grew a foot.
The first creator wrestler.
Yeah.
Someone just went on Here Comes the Pain and like, here's this 7-foot ponytail.
Yeah.
Soul patch.
And then he became just like roidy vascular,
Oh,
and it was kind of ridiculous. As
There
the
is no
Punisher,
way.
Andrew Martin.
There is
yeah.
no way that dude was not taking steroids.
No, he was the Vesuvius of back knee.
Although, to be fair, he like a big man doing an elbow drop. off the top rope.
Yeah.
You're okay by me.
No, that was legit. Like that was he was good because he was good, but I have no idea who would cite him as being their favorite or like their top influence
Except Lance
as a wrestler. But you know what, Lance Hoyt. I mean, okay, I'm going to take a shot that is mean.
It's
but,
okay. It's all right. I do it
But
all
it was
the time.
like Lance Hoyt has ass antlers. You know, he has a tramp stamp.
Yeah.
It was just like, why, dude? Like, is it just like a butterfly in the middle with like tribals going outside? Dude, that's like your taste is questionable. I like him. He's okay. He's also fucking terrifying in Japan as a wrestler and like going crazy and spitting all over people and like just like, well, blasting them with water from his mouth, not directly spit. But yeah, anyway, he's good. But yeah, dude has weird taste.
It's funny that New Japan is a place where Lance Hoyt, who couldn't cut it in TNA and couldn't cut it in WWE, is one of the more entertaining aspects.
One of the speaking of Lances, one of the guys that I was always surprised never really went to Japan when he could have had a good style because he had like a low opinion of them was Lance Storm.
Yeah,
because I was like, I like the guy. I like the fact that he was one of those guys who was just like, yeah, I'm like literally one of the only dudes you will see this jacked who like never touched steroids in my entire life. But he was also somebody who was so not fun. You know,
he was never fun.
Oh no, seeing him in sharp contrast to Chris Jericho. Like if you see the early '90s of them as the thrill seekers, it was like
Jericho having to convince Lance Storm to have fun.
Yeah, Chris Jericho was the only one seeking any thrills. Like Lance Storm was seeking the library. That dude just like
the Obi-Wan rat tail.
His tiny little like sureño ponytail. Shout out New Mexico.
That's probably why Chris Candido and him didn't get along.
It was just his little bleached, baby mullet going on in the back there. Holy shit,
the reverse
dude.
Tyson Kidd.
But you know, it was like what I liked is he never injured anybody.
Yeah.
He was technically awesome, and because the reason I say that is because he gave the gentlest chair shots I'd ever seen, and everybody just booed the tits off the guy, and it was like, you know what? He doesn't want to hurt the people he's in the ring with.
Yeah.
He wants to make it look like he's knocking the piss out of them, but you cannot have a convincing looking chair shot that does not hurt another human being. Like that's how it is with weapons that.
To me, the most famous chair shot of all time, which to this day gives me chills, is when JBL bashed Eddie Guerrero so hard.
Holy shit!
His head turned into a blood fountain.
Yeah, it looked like it was like he was at the drinking fountain. And somebody forgot to turn the fucking tap off.
One of the only positive things to come out of the Benoit incident is them toning down the chair shots.
Yeah. Holy shit! I am really glad that kind of went the way of the dodo.
It was getting loud.
Yeah,
and it was.
Yeah, they were just and it was like who was it that ended up bashing JBL's head? Oh yeah, he did as well. But after the Blue Meanie incident,
Stevie Richards,
just like home runned his.
JBL punched his friend in the face as hard as he could.
Yeah, and like a dick too. But yeah, it was like, well, he took his receipt.
It's a funny spot because while the brawl's still going on, there's just Blue Meanie in the corner like, I'm done.
Yep. My face is a bloody goddamn it.
Like, I am
done.
Well,
and you see because you see them getting ready for the brawl, and like JBL like doesn't take his eyes off Meanie. You see him just getting ready, and he lights his ass up. Yeah, and it was just because the guy like criticized him being a fucking bully. He was like, "I'll show you a bully." It was like you actually are showing what a bully is.
But goddamn, I love JBL.
It's oh my god, he's such an asshole. He's
bad.
like the worst person. But it's like he knows how, and it's like he's flabby, he's like flabby. He's got big moves, and it's like because he's obviously a deeply intelligent human being.
Yeah.
He's like because you didn't see a lot of that. Well, it's like a Lars Sullivan kind of guy nowadays, the erudite brawler.
Yes.
Some dude who's obviously deeply intelligent, or like Eric Rowan. Smart dudes who are big, powerful guys. But like he did all of that, and it was like he wasn't a monster; he was a piece of shit.
But like in such a lovable way.
Well, it was understandable. It was like, well, the Mauro Ranallo thing, I had soured on him for that because it was like, dude can't help being who he is, But yeah, there were so many ways in which JBL was such an asshole in a compelling way. That's what I would say, rather than a likable human being. He was somebody that I would keep watching. But otherwise, I'm just like, there's so much about you that I do not agree with.
Chasing like in that segment where he was chasing people back across the border. I can't help
for the JBL Great American Award.
I can't help but laugh. He's like the Biff Tannen.
Yeah,
of professional wrestling
easily,
and
very easily.
I missed that. I kind of missed the bully. Like Ryback seemed like he was gonna go that route.
You know who always seemed like that was just right around the corner for them at any given time to this day? Kevin Owens.
Oh, he could.
Because it's like watching him with Alex Riley in NXT. It was just like, he's such an asshole. Like watching him on commentary.
Yeah.
Like he can be so shitty to anybody. And then he could just snap and throw him over the fucking table. It was just like, yeah, that dude. Well, I mean, just look at his face.
I love Kevin Owens.
Yeah. And it was just like, and he's so good at it, and it's so weird because apparently he's nothing like that in real life, and yet he plays it so well.
I know he seems like a very quiet dude outside of professional.
Well, that's what I said. He just devoted family man. You know, actually a lot more fun loving than he would come across as.
I mean, it pours into what he does. You can tell when Kevin Owens is just doing something to have fun.
Very much.
Kind of takes away from the moment. Like, damn it, Kevin Owens, you're supposed to be a scary bad guy, and you're never a scary bad guy.
Yep. Well, anyway.
I mean, that whole storyline between him and Chris Jericho.
Oh, yeah.
Was just tons of ridiculousness.
Yeah. And the two of them played off of each other so very well. But that's when you can tell that there are two performers who genuinely like and respect one another. You know? Yeah, because they had chemistry. And Owens as Universal Champion. You know, Jericho as U.S. Champion. It was just like, yeah, they were quite the duumvirate.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, that feud should have been for the Universal title, but that's a...
Oh, yeah. No, that's an entirely different Brock Lesnar kettle of fish.
I mean, I want to get back to the ROH stuff in a second. We got way off the rails. But
but you know, Jay Lethal is awesome.
Jay Lethal is awesome. I actually kind of like what they're doing with the Universal title right now.
Yeah.
First off, it hasn't had a great lineage.
Oh no, that's a short list right there.
Yeah, no offense to Kevin Owens, no offense to Goldberg, no offense to Finn Balor, but Finn Balor dropped it basically the same night he won it when he got injured.
He had no choice.
And then the Kevin Owens title reign was completely about Chris Jericho.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't Jericho's fault. He overshadowed the Universal Champion.
No, it got goofy.
Yeah.
You know, and then of course it ended rather ignominiously at the hands of Goldberg.
Oh God! And I mean, I knew it was going to happen, but I was against Goldberg holding the title the entire time.
Yeah,
and then it was Goldberg won it to give it to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania.
To drop that thing after a month.
Allegedly, and Brock Lesnar was supposedly going to give it to Roman Reigns, and I'm still glad it's not on Roman Reigns.
Oh,
this is not gonna be a Roman Reigns bash podcast, but when I find it hard to believe that people are buying tickets just to walk out during Roman Reigns matches.
Yeah, it's like people buying shirts to talk about how much John Cena sucks.
Yeah, they might buy tickets and shit on Roman Reigns during the match, but there's no way they're buying the tickets to walk out.
Yeah,
they're trying like WWE needs to listen. We don't want Roman Reigns in the main event.
No,
he's not interesting. He's not compelling. He can be interesting and compelling, but you have not done it.
Just put him back into his role he had as the Juggernaut.
Yeah.
Of the Shield.
Exactly.
Where it was just like quiet ass kicker who'd occasionally say things in a scary deep voice, because when they were always just like Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose.
I'll talk when I have something to say.
Yeah. Or like, and then when he would grab the like camera when they were doing the handheld thing, like a crazy person, be like, believe that, and it was just like, no, that dude looks like he's going to just destroy somebody.
Roman Reigns was exciting when he was quiet,
and it was just like quiet, occasionally yell, scare people, and then just beat ass.
Yeah,
and that's literally what it has to be. Don't be clever. That's so much it.
And I don't think it'd be such a problem if he wasn't eclipsing everybody who's like really coming into their own. Yeah,
and everybody is just getting pinned. Well, I mean, obviously he's been on a long losing streak.
Yeah,
nowadays. But the problem is, it was just like that's not in a way that's making him a compelling or believable underdog.
I agree. Seth Rollins is killing it.
Yeah, because he was believable as the underdog champion.
Yeah.
Like that, as he was the guy who couldn't do it on his own. He seemed like such a piece of shit. And it was like, I remember like just hating the way they were booking him. And then it was like, wait, no, this is perfect the way that they're doing it, because I am literally watching every week because I want to see him lose.
Yes.
And then you see him not lose, and he's so good every single time. When I am like suspending my disbelief and I'm not noticing that I am,
Right.
that's how you
When
do
you're
it,
actually
son.
getting mad that he's not winning matches on
Yeah.
his own.
Yes. Oh yeah, with J&J Security, it was like, yeah, that is beautiful. Weirdest part was the fact that Jamie Noble and what's his name, Joey Mercury, like literally looked smaller.
Yeah.
These guys were champions, you know?
Joey
Just
Mercury, yeah.
amazing. And James Gibson is like fucking ROH world champion. It was like these, and they looked like his little buddies. It was hilarious.
And then he comes back and he does this great feud with Triple H.
Yeah.
And he's now this huge baby face.
Yeah.
And you have Braun Strowman, who's the most over guy in the company.
Ridiculous.
You have Finn Balor, who people love and want to see.
Oh,
and
yeah.
and they all get cast to the wayside for Roman Reigns and this unit.
Yeah, to just kind of run roughshod over everybody else, and it makes no sense to me because there's so many guys. Because it was like I believe that Finn Balor is one of those guys who just hasn't gotten his time yet.
I agree.
You know, because it's like I'll be fair. It's his look and his character that compel me much more than his actual moveset.
Yeah.
You know,
I remember Finn Balor moments more than I remember Finn Balor matches.
Yeah, because it was like, because again, like Prince Devitt as the real rock and roll in Bullet Club, it was like, yeah, they seemed like they seemed like rock and roll terrorists
Oh.
in the way that they did shit.
Yeah.
It was just like, yeah, these are a bunch of bad motherfuckers. It was just like really, really pretty, like almost offensively good looking dude, and then just a bunch of like fucking scary
Ugly
Samoans
motherfuckers.
behind him. Yeah, who are just like, yeah, we're gonna wreck everybody and we're gonna act like we're executing you at the end of it. It was
And
just
became
like.
the biggest. It became the biggest stable in
Yeah,
professional
it was
wrestling.
like that's where people go out and they buy those T-shirts. NW who, you know? Yeah.
So-
it was great.
them keeping Brock Lesnar away,
Uh-huh.
and as transparent as the storyline is right now,
Yeah,
about how Brock Lesnar doesn't want to show up. It's not
yeah.
worth
There's
it.
no worthy challengers.
As transparent as it is, because the only person to ever come out and complain about it lately is Roman Reigns. Who's
Yeah.
like, he should be here. I'm Roman Reigns, and I'm the underdog. No, you're not.
And his like going like his work shooting.
Yeah.
you know,
And
it's offensive because it's it's the deepest pandering kind of worked shoot.
It felt real with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, it felt
was
real
with
with CM Punk. Yeah, it was just that was it because you were dealing with dudes who literally were getting the short end of the
Yeah.
stick on
You can't
that.
intentionally recreate that.
No, not at all. Because there is not that groundswell of support, and it's weird because they're acting like, we're manipulating you. He's
Everything's a work,
biggest
brother.
heel in it. Yeah, and he actually
No, we
he's
know.
fucking not, and you're not like. And the weirdest part is I don't think they're allowing themselves to really kind of acknowledge the fact that they're not fooling anyone.
Yeah.
you know, because I think because again it was just like that because everything else is firing on all cylinders. Everything else is resonating
SmackDown's
with the
killing
fan
it,
base.
NXT's killing
Oh
it,
man, yeah,
205
the
Live's killing it.
UK, the UK stuff is killing it. There's so much good shit out there right now. It was like,
And then there's just this thing with Roman
Yeah.
Reigns and the Universal title that we don't want to see.
no, not in the slightest. It was just all right, cool. But yeah, just outside of that, that's not what is doing it for me.
Same.
Yeah.
I mean, them keeping Brock Lesnar away could work. It could just get to the point where, we just want to see the title off of Brock Lesnar, which I don't really want to do right now.
Yeah, I
Brock Lesnar's
understand.
fine. I like Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
I think it's dumb to put him through this idea. Like, I mean, some of it's probably true. But
Yeah.
when you're like, he doesn't want to work SummerSlam.
Yeah.
No. It's kind of like Connor Griffiths, my usual co-host, had this theory that they were intentionally misusing Rusev
Okay.
to create this audience uproar about it.
Okay,
but I'm also
that's
like,
fair.
at the same time, though, you are legitimately misusing Rusev.
Yeah.
You are legitimately not using him.
He is not getting his fair shot because Rusev is an amazing talent.
Yeah.
And he could be so over. And it's like, I get the direction that
I
they're
get
going
that,
now.
But it's like, imagine they didn't put Stone Cold Steve Austin on TV.
Yeah.
Like, that was their idea, was
Yeah.
instead of putting him in all of these segments all of the time,
Yeah,
always.
they kind of buried him. They gave
Yeah.
him like they gave a lot of shine to like Deborah. They made her his
Yeah.
his valet in the middle of it, and Stone Cold Crush. No, thank you. Yeah, now
No, it's just like New Japan wouldn't do that. Like,
No.
intentionally manipulate the audience
No, well, it's because they're all about
Doing
the storytelling.
backstage stuff, yeah.
yeah. No, there's so much skitty bullshit that you will never see in that. But again, that's kind of been the reason that New Japan is so likable because all of the storytelling is done in the ring.
Exactly.
I love the fact that they treat it much more like a legitimate contest. Obviously, it's not, but the press conferences and the open challenges,
more like a sport.
Yeah, precisely. That's because they were borrowing from the formula that All Japan did. You know, where you see it like guys like the aforementioned Vader is Triple Crown champion, where you would see just these badasses who were, legitimately hard, doing these and then getting challenged openly by, the up and comers. Maybe they'll win, maybe they won't. But the best part is, especially with the whole, the coronation of Kenny Omega, you didn't see it coming.
Yeah. I think that's why women's wrestling in WWE is so good right now.
Yeah.
Is because they treat it like a sport.
You know,
Even on the main roster, as much as the Alexa Bliss Nia Jax storyline was terrible,
yeah.
they still treat it like actual competition instead of convoluted storylines.
Yeah. No, this is absolutely the truth. Well, looks like time we got. Are we going to need to wrap this one up?
Yeah, we'll wrap it up real quick. I just want to give a shout out. I mean, I've seen Jay Lethal live a couple times. I love Jay Lethal. He's a great wrestler.
Yeah.
I'm happy to see him hold the title again. I'm kind of wondering where they're going with this.
Yeah.
I think ROH is kind of in a holding pattern right now.
Yeah, very much so. But you know what? He's a good champion
He's
to
a
be
great
holding
champion.
the belt right now. I'm okay with that.
I want to see ROH get back to where it used to be, where it was like that was the premier wrestling.
Yeah.
They kind of let New Japan take that over.
Yeah, honestly, I would kind of like them to send Roman Reigns to Japan.
I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns is a great wrestler. I just think he's a terrible used character.
That's it. Yeah, that's specifically it. It was just like the fact that it was like much like Rusev, Roman Reigns is being terribly misused right now in the opposite direction. Yeah.
All right. For Sit Down and Pile Drive, we're going to wrap it up, guys. We'll be doing Screen Source tomorrow. We record it today.
Yes.
That's some breaking kayfabe kind of stuff for Color Circle.
Peeling back the curtain, boys and girls.
So stick around. Make sure Monday we do Screen Source. Wednesday we're not going to be here. We have the whole schedule printed up here. For Sit Down and Pile Drive, I'm Connor.
I'm Fernando.
You guys have a good day.